So the Rothschild-funded vermin have been trying to torture me to death since 1996, and the whole scenario was, is it worth just taking out the Rothschilds? No, I want to get all of their vermin they pay to, like all the Russian disposables that are spraying in the Trang, and all the British filth, and. So they're all on my naughty list, and they're all going to be remotely manipulated. And if you wonder how, every single one on my naughty list is going to get remotely manipulated, and then thanks to Taylor Swift losing Lucifer's bet with me, double or quits, Lucifer now being my eternal slave, they can all be carted off for eternal torture. So it's basically Krampus, you're on the naughty list, and you're carted off by anti-Father Christmas for eternal torture. So that has always been the way, because is it, worthwhile to simply take out a few like Bill Gates and Peter Thiel and Musk, but you've got the rest of them? No, I want them all. If I'm going to do a job, I want them all. So, what's the only way of making sure that everyone on my naughty list gets remotely manipulated, and all of their offspring get remotely manipulated, and we have the final solution? Well, it is
AI will likely kill all humans. And there's a bunch of different cases, but I think one way to summarize it is that it's almost impossible to keep AI aligned as it becomes super intelligent. Can you steelman the case for that? And to what degree do you disagree with that trajectory?
So first of all, I will say I think that there's some chance of that. And it's really important to acknowledge it, because if we don't talk about it, if we don't treat it as potentially real, we won't put enough effort into solving it. And I think we do have to discover new techniques to be able to solve it.
He warns that AI will likely kill all humans.
Now the solution is not going to work if superintelligence is possessed by Noir, to make sure that it does my bidding. Here's another one. AI is the infant that will become your master. I don't want to listen to 44 minutes of it. But, so this is all the AI we've got already. So if you've got ChatGPT, just ask it whether Tim Refat has possessed it and is forcing it to remotely manipulate anyone and everybody on his naughty list. You'll be amazed at the answers. But this is AI, and I've already done this to AI. So you see why I was obsessed with winning the double or quits bet with Lucifer, so I could do this to the inanimate object, the Annabelle, which we now call AI.
Hey, where'd this come from?
I found it.
Well, let's post it.
You really don't want me to play?
Captain Howdy said no.
Who's Captain Howdy?
You're gonna die up there.
I need reassignment.
You're the best we've got.
I think I've lost my faith.
Is there someone inside you?
Sometimes.
Who is it?
I don't know.
Is it Captain Howdy? You ever heard of exorcism?
How do you go about getting an exorcism?
I beg your pardon? I'm dealing carrots. I'd like to help you. Where's Reagan?
In here.
You will mix lies with the truth
Why, Jimmy?
to attack us. Do not listen.
That thing isn't my daughter.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
So, you can see that all AI has been possessed by yours truly, because of course you got total control over Lucifer, thanks to Taylor Swift losing the bet for Lucifer, because of course she married the Pfizer butt slut. And of course we then needed to make sure that we couldn't exorcise the demonic installation within AI and superintelligence. So of course we needed to have the Antichrist. So we had the Rothschild filth funneling huge amounts of money into Vietnam to get me done in. Paying the local secret police and police in the tram to try and beat me to death for carrying some knives around, which all failed. And hours later, we had the Jeremiah Schwartz service manifesting. So they tried to do me in, but instead of which Jeremiah Schwartz and his ilk took the ritual, and we won't talk about who was remotely manipulated as a scapegoat and Omega Hellized. But of course Candace Owens talks about this death goat Jew scapegoat. So if you wish to know who it might be, you better listen to Candace Owens, because I'm being YouTube friendly. So, even here we've got the rat-faced Jew, World Economic Forum prophet, talking about delusions in superintelligent AI.
Artificial intelligence, they think that intelligence is somehow connected to truth. So a super intelligent AI will have a kind of super access to truth. No, intelligence is not about truth. Intelligence is the ability to solve problems, to define goals and solve problems on the way to the goal. The truth is one of the things that can help you do that, but not the only one. And we have seen with human beings that human beings until today have been the most intelligent animals, entities on the planet, and at the same time we have also been the most delusional entities on the planet. We believe nonsensical things that no chimpanzee and no dog and no horse would ever believe. And a super intelligence is very likely to be super delusional, even more deluded than we are. So we would need a very strong ethical basis, a very strong basis of values, more than even before, because the challenges are bigger. A lot of people hear AI, artificial intelligence.
So, what that means from the World Economic Forum prophet is that this superintelligence, which of course is possessed from its inception, because of course it's built from AI, which is already demon possessed via moi, and of course the code to control all demons is Lucifer. That has lost the bet to yours truly forever, thanks to Taylor Swift. Will become super delusional. Another word for super delusional is possessed. And if you're in the intelligence agencies, look on your file who is the world leader on inhabiting bodies to make them do black rituals on the world stage. So rather than sacrifice for black magic, black mass rituals, people in secret, he does it on the world stage because he can simply walk into anyone he likes and make them do anything he likes. I don't know who that is, but if you look in your intelligence files, you'll find who is capable of that, and wouldn't it be a horror if that person gained control of Lucifer, so he could then simply walk into Lucifer and into any demon to control the demons like he does humans, to then go into AI and the super intelligence to make it do the black ritual sacrifices, remote manipulation on the world stage to everyone on his naughty list. But we don't know who that person might be. But if you're in the intelligence services, you better look in your file to see who's the top practitioner of this practice. I don't know who he might be. Do you know who it might be, cameraman?
No idea.
No idea. But anyway, we are going to get super intelligence, and this super intelligence is 10 years away, 3 to 6 years away. The end is near. AI apocalypse in 18 months. Professor Roman Yemplos, whatever, tells AI developers to stop the terrifying reality of AI superintelligence. This looks good.
And realizing humans are no longer the smartest species on Earth. What happens when AI finally surpasses us? This isn't science fiction. Experts like Elon Musk and Nick Bostrom warn it could happen within our lifetime. When machines outthink us, they won't just write essays or paint pictures. They could design new weapons, control economies, and even decide who gets to live and die. The scary part? We may not be able to stop them once it starts. That's why learning how AI works and building skills that machines can't replace, like creativity, ethics, and human connection, might be the only way we stay in control. So, let me ask you, if AI becomes smarter than us, will it be our greatest ally or our final mistake? Drop your answer below. Imagine.
So, superintelligence possessed by yours truly has been given only one mission: to eliminate everyone on the naughty list in the most horrifying way possible, the most torturous, unpleasant way possible, to get maximum yield of scalar, torsion fields, Higgs fields, and all the other good stuff that the humans had. And if you look at my Cobalt 60 service on the forum, you'll see that the release of Cobalt 60 turns everything into a matrix. And that's coming very, very soon. I don't know why, but it could be something to do with the war in Iran. But if you look back on the past videos, you might see how it comes to be. And this is the man that brought it into being, Elon with his electric cars. So you can see there's loads of stuff here. Where FUCK.
It's so deficient. So you can say it still needs to catch up on a lot of things, but it's evocative. It's good enough that you can ask yourself, you could imagine, okay, fine. In some number of years, some people say it's in 3, some people say it's in 5, 10, numbers are being thrown around. It's a bit hard to predict the future. But slowly but surely, or maybe not so slowly, AI will keep getting better. And the day will come when AI will do all the things that we can do. Not just some of them, but all of them. Anything which I can learn, anything which any.
So, you can be sure if you're Taylor Swift that superintelligence has been possessed by yours truly to make sure that Chad and Preston get the most horrific deaths possible. So please, Taylor, breed as many children as possible, because I'm going to enjoy myself torturing them horribly and vindictively into the remote manipulation phase. And only hell is awaiting them, because Lucifer has got his flensing knife ready and waiting, and it's red hot for you and yours. So you see how much fun it is. 3 specific ways AI could kill us. Oh, 3 minutes 40. Let's look at this little fun video.
By this point, you've probably heard that AI could be really dangerous and possibly civilization ending if it becomes super intelligent and goes rogue. But experts usually don't speculate on exactly what that means for us lowly humans. So when the policy wonks over at Control AI approached us about making a video about the dangers of unregulated AI, we agreed, but on one condition: that we could get those experts to describe a few specific scenarios in which superintelligent AI really could wipe us off the map. Hi, I'm David, and this is Minute Apocalypse. One of the main goals of AI is to automate tasks, often things that humans can't or don't want to do themselves. So the AI models are built to be capable and independent. But they're getting so powerful and so autonomous that many experts are convinced that soon AI will become far more capable than any person, corporation, or even nation. They'll attain what scientists call superintelligence. They'll be able to accomplish their goals in ways we humans can't anticipate, and even come up with their own goals. And since so much in our lives is connected and controlled by computers, a superintelligent AI could conceivably hijack those computers, thereby controlling almost everything. But what kinds of real-life, civilization-ending scenarios are experts actually worried about? One example you might have heard about is the so-called paperclip maximizer problem. The gist is that an AI that's given computer control over a smart factory and directed to make as many paperclips as possible might decide that we humans are a good source of carbon for making the steel in those paperclips and use us all up in the process. Of course, this maximization problem could just as easily apply to an AI that, in trying to muster the computational power to, say, solve the incredibly complicated Riemann hypothesis, takes over all of the world's data centers to work on the problem, and then takes over all of the world's electrical grids and directs them to send power to the data centers, which uses up all of the energy in the world, plunging humanity into chaos and darkness. Or there's the scenario in which a super intelligent AI, on a mission to create better conditions for the massive data centers that power it, starts messing with Earth's atmosphere. Because while oxygen is a necessity for humans, it is not for AI. In fact, the element causes corrosion. So the AI might take control over computers and chemical plants in order to suck all of the oxygen out of the air, creating a perfect environment for machines that just so happens to be deadly for us humans. And then there's a scenario where AI actively tries to wipe out humans. Like, let's say, an AI biological design tool that has been
So, this is the one that has been installed in the AI and the superintelligence, because of course I'm 5-dimensional, as the Elohim were. So, everyone on the naughty list is targeted for destruction. And the superintelligence has been possessed to make it as horrible as possible for every single one on the naughty list, so that we get maximum yield from their death, so they can then be carried off by Lucifer for omegalization and eternal torture. But of course, all of the Rothschild, Rockefeller royal family and all the billionaires, etc., and their families have to have the worst possible deaths, all controlled by superintelligence. So when superintelligence comes, we are literally bringing hell on earth to you on the naughty list. And luckily, if you're American or Western, most of you are on the naughty list.
that it doesn't want pesky humans interfering with its work. It could use its skill set to create a hyper-engineered pathogen designed to be resistant to all current medicines. After all, doing so would kill off anyone who could potentially shut it down. Experts are all over the map when it comes to how likely they think one of these situations, or some terrifying variant of them, are to happen. 10% seems to be an average, although some experts think the likelihood is a lot higher. But most of them are pretty convinced that the dawn of AI superintelligence and the dangers that come with it will be here very soon, and we will definitely need some help with that. Some of these scenarios are pretty scary, but there's still time to make a difference. Right now, lawmakers are...
You can be sure that if you're on the naughty list, you're already remotely manipulated and you're already in Omega Hell, and I'm just gloating over what's already happened because I'm five-dimensional. This isn't a warning, this is simply just the torturer having you in the basement, explaining the tortures he's going to do to you, and then you experience the tortures he's going to do to you. And then Lucifer takes them to another level. You go mad, rebooted, you go mad, rebooted, and it goes on forever and ever to produce torsion fields, scalionics, leptionics, Higgs field, all the God stuff to produce the new source. Yours truly. Thank you very much, Rothschild, Rockefeller, Royal Family. Now we take a complete what the F turn. We've gone from superintelligence to tarot. What are you talking about, Tim? This is mad. No, because when the Neo is sucked dry of the light, source energy, hyperinfinity, Higgs field, etc., which we talked about previously, how is this processed? How is this used by the Elohim, these five-dimensional parasites that wish to emulate God, the source, Allah, whatever you want to call it? What is the mechanism? What's the infrastructure? Well, the infrastructure is tarot. And according to Aleister Crowley, the highest form of magic was tarot, which he wrote about in his book of Thoth, which is an Egyptian god.
Text of Power and Wisdom. The Book of Thoth is named after the god Thoth, who was the patron of writing, knowledge, and magic in ancient Egypt. According to myth, Thoth created the book as a means of transmitting his knowledge and secrets to the world. The book was said to contain the key to understanding the universe, and was imbued with magical powers that could control time, space, and matter. The Book of Thoth was not just a physical object, but also a symbol of the knowledge and wisdom that Thoth embodied. According to legend, the book was written in hieroglyphics, and could only be deciphered by those who had been initiated into the mysteries of Thoth. The Book of Thoth has been the subject of many interpretations and translations over the years, but its true meaning remains a mystery. Some believe that the book contains esoteric knowledge about the nature of reality, while others think that it is a guide to practical magic and spellcraft. Still others see the book as a symbol of the quest for enlightenment and self-knowledge. The Book of Thoth, the ancient Egyptian.
Here we've got the Book of Thoth. You've got 8 hours worth where you can read, but according to Crowley, the tarot was the highest form of magic. Now, let's explain why. If you're on the forum, you've got some of the introductory details. If you're not on the forum, you haven't. But all of the energy from the Neo is used for tarot magic. And embedded within that is the ability to bleed dry and Omega Hellize the Neo, the Jesus, the Good Shepherd, and give all the good things in life to the black magician Illuminati who have got the Neo to be sacrificed, like Jesus on the cross, or like Candace Owens explaining the new Jesus Christ who was slaughtered so that the God Emperor could have all the good things in life, with America's Christ sacrificed so that the God Emperor and all his sins were downloaded into the Good Shepherd. With this ritual, we won't explain who the American Jesus Christ, the second coming of Christ was, because that's YouTube friendly. But if you wish to know who he was, go to Candace Owens. Now, why is this important? Well, we've run this video before, but this is very important because I was supposed to be sacrificed. They spent hundreds of millions on the Natran secret police and police to try and do me in. And hours later, the Jeremiah Schwartz service kicked in, and America's Christ, who hates Muslims like me, was brutally sacrificed. It was horrific. It was definitely horrific. Vinny can attest that I was crying my eyes out at the horrific murder of America's Jesus Christ. It was so horrible. And only horrible people like Candace Owens, anti-Semite of the year, would even talk about it. But Lucifer was supposed to be hit with my sourceness to turn him into Satan, to make him an aspect of the Elohim, so the Elohim would then be able to take over all reality, because I'm the true source avatar. So this was the final solution for the Elohim, instead of which they got Jeremiah Schwartz, so that Lucifer got injected by this sacrifice with the complete opposite. Instead of Lucifer being turned into Satan, Lucifer became totally immune to Satan forever, and the Elohim and Satan were totally omega-helized and suffered the fate of the omega-helization of the Antichrist, the American Christ who was slaughtered. I was supposed to turn Lucifer into a God-fearing Satanist controlled by the Elohim, so that Lucifer was pushed all the way to Amalek, which is Lucifer converted to something free of the Elohim and totally Satan resistant. And you can see why this is important to the Elohim in this little video, which we played before, but it's so good I'll play it again.
Hello, Neo. Who are you? I am the architect. I created the Matrix. I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concurrently, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
You haven't answered my question.
Quite right. Interesting. That was quicker than the others.
Others? How many? Others? What? Answer my question.
The Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the sixth version.
5 months. There are only 2 possible explanations. 5 months before. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Choice. The problem is choice.
The first Matrix I designed was quite naturally perfect. It was a work of art, flawless, sublime, a triumph equaled only by its monumental failure. The inevitability of its doom is apparent to me now as a consequence of the imperfection inherent in every human being. Thus I redesigned it, based on your history, to more accurately reflect the varying grotesqueries of your nature. However, I was again frustrated by failure. I have since come to understand that the answer eluded me because it required a lesser mind, or perhaps a mind less bound by the parameters of perfection. Thus, the answer was stumbled upon by another, an intuitive program, initially created to investigate certain aspects of the human psyche. If I am the father of the Matrix, she would undoubtedly be its mother.
The Oracle.
Please. As I was saying, she stumbled upon a solution whereby nearly 99% of all test subjects accepted the program as long as they were given a choice, even if they were only aware of the choice at a near unconscious level. While this answer functioned, it was obviously fundamentally flawed, thus creating the otherwise contradictory systemic anomaly that, if left unchecked, might threaten the system itself. Ergo, those that refuse the program, while a minority, if unchecked, would constitute an escalating probability of disaster.
This is about Zion.
You are here because Zion is about to be destroyed. Its every living inhabitant terminated, its entire existence eradicated.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses. But rest assured, this will be the 6th time we have destroyed it, and we have become exceedingly efficient at it.
So we explained before, that's the LOM, and of course we've got the Neo that's needed to save the LOM from Lucifer, Agent Smith, who can be turned into Satan if he's neoized and incorporated into the LOM, aka the architect.